So today, welcome everybody. It's Teresa Shaver from the Business Advisory Centre Durham. I have Jody Swain from Hire and Fire Your Kids here. Hi, Jody.
Hi, Teresa. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm excited to have you here today with us on this call, or this interview, should I say. We are going to be putting this both on YouTube, Facebook, and on our podcast as well. The podcast is called Step Up Your Business, and it's available on all the major platforms, including Google and Apple, Spotify, that kind of thing. So we wanted to chat to Jody because she's actually have a really exciting launch coming up. And I thought it'd be great for us to hear a little bit about Jody and her business, and a little bit about her journey and what she's gone through so far. So Jody, if you don't mind, I would love you just to tell people a little bit about your business, and then I'll ask some questions after that.
Yeah, sure. So we are launching a behavior and chore game app called Hire and Fire Your Kids. And it's launching Saturday, August the 17th, both to the Google Play Store and the App Store.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. I don't have a great understanding of what it means. I mean, it sounds cool, hire and fire your kids, but love to know more.
Yeah, so essentially as a parent, you download the app and you are allowed to post jobs for hire, and your kids get to apply to these jobs for reward. And then on the other side, there are family values and expectations that must be followed in the home. And if the kids are caught not following them, they get warning X's. And after a certain amount of warning X's, the kids get fired.
Oh, and then how does that game help motivate them?
So the game is all mostly about awareness and measurements. So for the kids, a lot of them don't know what the expectations are in the home, what the rules are of the home. So this is just a daily occurrence. And as it's brought to their attention, so the parents are encouraged to take pictures of an expectation or a value that wasn't met, and it gets sent to the child's device. And so it's happening on a daily occurrence, and they have the opportunity to correct those X's and have them removed. But it's really just about driving the awareness. And, when we rolled this out with the paper version, I think one of our kids had like 26 X's month 1, went to 14 month 2, went to 6 month 3. So when you're consistently driving the awareness and the kids are playing it in a gaming format, it naturally starts to change behaviors through this game, essentially.
Okay. What made you decide to, what was the brainchild behind this idea?
Yeah, so for sure it was a blended family. We're a blended family. I have 3 step boys, and I had a daughter of my own. And when I found myself at home on mat leave, I had tended to work a lot of nights and weekends. So being home for a year in Canada, we get a year, the kids were driving me crazy. Honestly, everywhere I looked, there was, toilets not flushed, stuff all over the floor, beds not made, lights left on. And I knew there was no way I could last a year of this. So I essentially just looked at the home as though this was my job for the year. And my job in retail was to motivate and inspire my team to deliver results. And so I looked at the home the same way that, my job as a parent is to motivate and inspire my kids to contribute to the home and get them ready for the real world and provide them with the skills they'll need once they've sort of left the nest. And so I really rolled it out to the kids, and within a week I knew we were on to something. It was a dramatic difference in the way our home operated, for sure.
Very cool. And is it something you still do today?
Yes. Yeah. So it's much easier with the app than it is with the paper version. And I still have a almost 17-year-old playing with us now. The other 2 are out, but an 11-year-old and then the 4-year-old is a little young for the device, but crazy how they pick it up. Like, she loves changing her character every day. Her favorite job is to wash all the baseboards. But it's
not mine.
Yeah. Well, they get to see it, right? And so kids are so, and that was the other piece I saw, is there was a bit of a gap. The way that kids are growing up these days is they are attached to their devices as much as we don't like it. And, to parent is becoming, difficult. They don't like the face-to-face conversations. They prefer to have communication through the device as much as we don't like it. So I came up with this game that works both for the parent and the kid to sort of be the buffer to reduce some family friction.
Right. That sounds very cool. What a great idea, So just, I love that. What do you think are the challenges that you're solving for your target market? You've mentioned more about the kids, but are the parents your target market?
Yes, well, the
Uh-huh.
parents are the ones that are going to be downloading the app. And so what we're hearing from our test families, and I found for myself, is honestly, it's just going to make your life easier. We do a lot of the work for you. We do a lot of the additions for you. As I mentioned before, reducing your family friction is probably the biggest one that we're hearing, as well as, it's a game that enables kids that have never done chores before to put it into a gaming format that makes it fun and engaging for them. The
Right.
kids are on multiple times a day. So for the parents, it's just a helpful tool to sort of bring some structure and organization into your home.
Very cool. Is there money that exchanges hands here?
With the parent and kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can pay your child. It's all sort of based around a work environment. So we have pay days and pay periods. And so
Oh,
you can choose whether you want to pay your kids in dollars or in points. So some of our families, the kids accumulate points and they can cash them in for an experience such as, date at the park with mom or a treat at the store, that sort of thing. And yeah, the long-term goal is eventually to sort of tie that into a prepaid debit card, because again, I think in Canada especially, financial literacy is something that we can absolutely be able to use in this app, and that's something I'm looking for the future.
right. Now, are you launching this app just for Canadians or kind of
Glo-
global?
Global.
Very,
Yeah,
very
global.
cool.
So on Saturday the 17th, it will launch in the App Store and Google Play Store. So that's, yeah, the world.
So now even more work starts, right? So up
Oh
to
my
now.
gosh, I know. I've been sort of working on this for a year now and thinking, oh, I might have some breathing room once we launch. But now I'm like, oh, now the real work I think begins. It's
Right.
just working it and getting people to know what it is and how it can help families and sort of blow this up so that everyone knows, because everyone's intrigued by it. The name is very interesting, right? Hire and fire your kids, and
Yes.
say on my car it says, feel like firing your kid today. And the amount of people that stop me and go, what is that? You're gonna fire your kids? And the kids that look at it, like, it's just, I'm really curious to see how it's going to be
Right.
accepted when we launch.
Well, I'm excited for you for sure. Is there a cost for the app?
Yeah, so it's a $8.99 annual subscription. And
Very cool.
the one thing I wanted is I didn't want any in-app purchases. I didn't want, any add-ons, any advertising. I really wanted it as a tool to help families, and I'm
Right.
sticking to that. So it's with a fee and then an annual subscription. It'll renew yearly for $8.99.
I don't see that as a lot of money considering we spend, $13 a month on Netflix.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So,
And yeah, my beta test families were like, you should be charging $1,000. I was like, yeah, and I'm really pleased with what's coming out from our beta testers and hoping that stays the same once we launch to other families.
right. Tell me a little bit about the whole process you went through just to test it before you thought, I think I'm now ready to build an app.
Yeah, so yeah, the reason I sort of moved into entrepreneurship was life experience and circumstances, and I found myself losing my job after 15 years and was like, what am I going to do? And I want to give back, and the only thing I could think of was this paper program that I came out with when I was on mat leave in 2015. And so I decided to see if it would work in other families. So I reached out to neighbors who I didn't know. I was mostly a hi, how you doing kind of neighbor, and invited them over for some wine and cheese and presented the program and said, would any of you like to try it? Because I want to see if this works before I invest in turning it
Yeah.
into an app. And all of them said they would do it. And within the first week, 2 weeks, all of them were like, you are totally on to something. So from there, I started researching apps and was looking overseas and within Canada. And in the end, I decided to hire a company from Whitby and stay within Canada. And anyone I brought on board, third party, has been within the Durham region.
Very
Um,
cool.
yeah, so I'm just trying to keep everything as like local as I can. And yeah, so I guess we started last June, I guess, sort of building it out and doing wireframes, interaction flows, designs, and then the coding. And yeah, the one thing for learning wise is this isn't, the tech industry is totally new for me, and I'm used to when there's a deadline, you hit a deadline. But I guess in the tech industry, that delays upon delays seems to be the norm. So that was probably one of the hardest things for me, because we're probably about 7 months behind schedule. Yeah.
What were the delays from?
Mostly coding, lawyers, right, to make sure you're covering your intellectual property. So yeah, and again, I'm new to this. I'm learning as I go and reading a ton, and
Yeah.
but that probably the coding was probably the biggest delay. Yeah.
Right. Because maybe some of the coding hasn't been done before and it's not that simple, right?
And also, I'm a small startup, right? So, my funds are limited. And so to have one person to the job to build this app, or two people, I mean, it takes a lot longer versus having a team of 15 or 20 people that are
Right.
working on a particular
Makes
project.
sense.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, how has BACD helped you with your business so far? I'd love to hear what you
So,
would say.
so good. I love you guys. I can't believe I didn't find you soon enough. I think I found you October of last year. And again, when I started thinking of this project, I think it was January, and then started building the app in June. I didn't find you guys till October. And I was like, oh my gosh, I probably would have been way further and had the right connections. Networking has been huge. The amount of people that I've met, and the support coming in through folks that I met from the BACD. I've taken part in all of your workshops and gained through, financials or operations. And even, going on Dragon's Den, I reached out to you and said, can I run by my pitch? And you were like, absolutely. And you brought your team in, and I took a lot of points back from your whole team. So I can't say enough about the BACD, and I would love that more people know about you, because I had no clue that you were even there until I think I was at Heart of Networking, and someone told me about you, and I looked you up and was like, oh my goodness, I need to take advantage of this for sure.
Right, right. As a not-for-profit, our marketing dollars are so small, but people like you help to shout from the rooftops. That helps us succeed for sure.
Yeah,
And,
no,
we've appreciated working with you. It's been an honor, and also it's been just wonderful to watch your journey. I loved it when you did your pitch for the Dragon's Den, and we got to think and see and kind of feel like we were there too. Tell me a little bit about the Dragon's Den, if you can. What was the process?
yeah.
Or
Oh
I
my
don't know
gosh.
what you can say, but you can tell us right now what you can say.
Yeah, I can't say a whole lot, but yeah, it was a long day. So I brought my husband and my youngest daughter with me, and then I had two other kids that had played the paper version of Hire and Fire Your Kids. And essentially they went out first, and it was like the crazy kids running around, like doing faces at the dragons. And then my husband was the one, like, parent, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Stuff all over the floor, popcorn and pop cans with these crazy teenagers. And then I came in and I pitched, and it was a really cool day, long day. Can't say a whole lot, but
Okay.
I didn't realize it was, it's a reality TV show in the end of it, but the cast and crew were amazing. I think there's 230 people that actually work on the Dragon's Den. And I
Wow.
was very impressed with the production. It was pretty
Very
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Can you tell us when it's airing?
Yeah, so it's season 14. So I believe it starts, it'll air anywhere between the October and March is the
Okay.
season. Yeah, and they'll let me know 2 weeks before which episode it will air on.
Good. And then you will let us know so that we can also promote it, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Can I ask you what piece of advice you'd give to people who are thinking about going down this entrepreneurial route?
Oh my goodness, go to the BACD.
Thank you.
Probably the first one. Like for me, the biggest thing that I have to constantly tell myself is just is the fear. It's so, you've never done something like this before, some family members, it's a little scary, right? So you have to push through the fear and continue to go after your passion. So
Your passion
yes,
and your vision, perhaps, right? Because if you didn't
for,
have that vision that you actually had something here,
yes.
you would have given up a long time ago.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing for me, because there's for sure good days and bad days, but the thing that keeps me going is the recognition. And so to be able to surround yourself with like-minded people through, networking and other, entrepreneurs or family is probably the one thing that'll keep you going and it will push you forward, is basically having a really good support system.
Right. So now, as you're starting this journey so far, what do you think the top skills are that you have needed?
Passion for sure. You need drive and determination.
Yeah.
To be able to push forward. And I would say for sure the support system, the networking has been a huge one for me to be able to, when you're working as an entrepreneur, I'm a one woman show, right? So to be able to surround yourself with like-minded people and feel that you're not alone, because you are essentially working alone, has been extremely, extremely helpful.
Very, very true. I always say entrepreneurship is a lonely game. You're by yourself, you know? And so
Yeah.
what do you do to combat that feeling? And that feeling of being alone is definitely network, get out, get a support system, get people that are on, you know, your people that you can refer to, like your advisors. You know, I think those are really important to have.
Yeah,
As
yeah, for sure.
And you know, the other thing I want to note is that you said that the skills you need are all soft skills, you know? And it's interesting because we all think we need these hard technical skills. But many times an entrepreneur actually needs its soft skills. It's leadership development of yourself.
Right.
And so,
Yeah. And again, like the growth, like I look at myself from a year ago and to continue to work on myself, whether it's reading, podcasts, vlogs, like again, like one of the biggest things that got me going is I'm not overly comfortable doing things like this, and knew I had to get past that. And so I actually listened to Gary V's Crushing It, because I wasn't familiar with any social media. I actually wasn't even on Facebook or Instagram until Hire and Fire Your Kids. So that was very inspirational for me. I find that in books, etc. Is just the learnings, like forever learning and putting things into practice and trying things that you never would have done before, even though you are super scared to do so. And what ends up happening is it's not that bad, and good things tend to happen when you put yourself out there. So
very
yeah.
good point. Tell me a little bit more about what were you watching with Gary Vee?
So I was the audiobook called Crushing It by Gary Vee. And
Yeah.
so he essentially goes through all of the social media, gives you some inspiration as to sort of the do's and don'ts. And yeah, for me, listening to him, it was just pushing me out of my comfort zone. And, you know, content, a lot of the things that people like is seeing me or is seeing my family. And I was super uncomfortable to do that. But I tried it, gave it a whirl, and lo and behold, you know, it worked. And, you know, I think when I started Hire and Fire, we had, I don't even know, like 5 people following us. And I think we have over 1,500 people now within probably even 6 months, I would say.
Very cool.
Gained all those. So yeah, it's been really helpful. And I actually listen to it again and again, because I get more and more from, yeah, he knows his stuff. That's for sure when it comes to putting yourself out there and
He
getting
does.
yeah.
Yes, and it's certainly one of the ways as we go forward is that people really want to connect with each other. I know tech is just taking off, but there is still that connection that they need to have to you in order to buy from you.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think I sense that that's very important for sure. In the show notes, I'm going to put the links so that people can go and download the app. And then I'm hoping, or I don't want to say I'm hoping, and then download the app. It's not a lot of money for you to get your kids hired and your family values and expectations done, and the stress of being able to tell your kids, you know, or the stress of being, what should I say? So the stress of trying to get your kids to do chores in the house will be made more fun.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like I sort of see this even after the launch of the app. You know, we have about 71 beta testers who are giving me information on what's working, what's not working, what they'd change, any bugs. And this is the first time I'm doing this, first go around. And so I'm hoping as we launch the app that continues, that if people are not liking things, that they will share it with me, because I do want to continue to build on this and have a very user friendly experience for our customers, and to be able to provide you know, an amazing app that helps them in their home, helps reduce their family friction, get their kids ready for the real world, and make your life a little easier.
Very good point. I love it. Jody, thank you so much for your time today, and I look forward to seeing your success.
Yeah, thank you very much.